Hi, this is Ricardo Diaz, welcoming you once again to the CU Immigration Forum TV, a place where we can bring you news about immigration, the issue, the people, as it goes on locally, statewide, in the U.S., and we've done our segments on the international side as much as we can. As I said, my name is Ricardo, and I hope recently in feedback I've had from people as they watch, it's amazing to me how many of you bring up the subject. You saw it, you want to comment it. We really do welcome your comments. The Immigration Forum is a relatively young organization. There's, I don't know, 50, 60 of us that see each other regularly. And then as we've called upon you, the community, that you've shown up at different events, it's very gratifying. But ultimately, it's a small group of people doing the best that they can. So we do welcome your feedback at cuimmigrationforum.org. Today, the topic of the conversation is to update you a little bit about what's going on nationally and statewide. The buzz of immigration is still going on, so I hope to use the web to give you some good sources to update you, and then to use it as a marker. That is the end of the spring, the beginning of the summer of 2014, as to where we are on immigration reform, but also on other advances, because reform as a package may not be happening, but there are little pieces that I hope to refer you to, and that you can do your own reading, and if possible, join us on the second Tuesday of every month at the University Y, where we open up the floor and people bring their issues and we inform each other on events. So I'm going to the screen for just a little while, because I'll be jumping back and forth through some of the issues of what's happening. As you see, this is our website. Immigrationforum.org is the place that you're looking at. And the current issues, the working groups, is a way for us to just let you know more or less how we're organizing ourselves. Ultimately, our calendar, although it's kind of sparse right now, there are plenty of reasons and plenty of committees to join, to come learn and do your own part. Of course, we also have the Facebook page, in which, for some reason I switched over, and the Facebook page has, I don't know, I remember 250 people that are on it. We tend to update that a little bit more, just because it's part of the news, part of the quick call to action. Most events we've been putting out as flyers and email blasts, as you may well know. Before I leave here to the topic of the day, which is where immigration reform is nationwide and the state, I want to refer you to one place that I've just recently found this week, thanks to a teleconference today, but that Professor Harwood from Urban and Regional Planning pointed me to. This site is called immigration-info.org. And it's, I really needed this website about a month ago when I was in Moscow. We were putting out a forum and we wanted to put in the basic bones, the bare bones information about what's going on in the U.S., because we were contrasting it with Russia. On this site, you will find the facts and figures, the demographics. I want to show you this section on the states, because the 10 states with the largest foreign-born populations in 2009, Illinois ranks in the top 10, barely, but it's still important to know that we have almost 14% of our population is foreign-born. That is, those are first-generation immigrants, whether they're citizens, whether they're on visa, whether they are undocumented. About 14% of the population of Illinois. It's almost 1,800,000 people. Usually children of immigrants, especially when they're very young, are living the immigrant experience because their parents tend to keep them very close. And so we talk of many more people that are directly affected, but it's easy to lose sight that at least 2 million people in Illinois are very much part of that immigrant experience. Out of 12 million people in Illinois, it's a decent number. And so I hope that when you hear about it, we're not making a mountain out of a molehill. It is real people and lots of them. As you can see from the website too, you can come back to this chart of population by sex, metropolitan status. You can see that the native born at this point were 264 million people, and broken down as to where they live. But we're also talking about 36 million immigrants in the U.S. I pointed out once again, because we as Illinois, we're in the top 10. There's some states that have much larger populations, but we are directly affected when we talk of people in this state. I'm going back to the immigration research page because one of the reasons I joined this teleconference today was working on the economics. I think it was Mayor Gerard when he was here a few episodes ago that said, you know what, in Champaign, what I look at immigrants as residents of my city. Whatever their relationship is with federal government is irrelevant to me. They are residents, they are workers, they are taxpayers, they are consumers. And I think it's not only a healthy attitude, but ultimately the unbreakable truth. Immigrants all around us, foreign-born, are here. We are part of the community in different ways and participate, whether we're engaged at the university or we're engaged in running our own little business. The national numbers reflect very much what it's like here. Immigrants, the foreign-born, are more likely, I saw the numbers this week, more likely to engage in activity in self-employed, that is, they're owners of their own business, they employ other people. It's amazing how many, the rate of participation, in this case the study was on rate of participation of foreign-born and then broken down by country of origin. And the numbers clearly show that Mexicans own their own business. They go out on their own a lot, something like 10 times higher than the native population. And the thing that struck me was not that the numbers, I know them because I live that, the reasons for those numbers. That is, when you come from if the bulk of the population that is immigrates here from Mexico comes from very poor conditions, they're economic refugees in a way. They're coming for a better life. There isn't anyone except for the drugs part driving them from home, but they want a better life for their children. But when they come here, of course, there's no welfare, there's medical, there's just they're not covered by Obamacare or anything else. And so when there is no safety net, you work harder because you have to. It's not necessarily that you want to. It's not unusual for my friends that have businesses to have a business which they do before and after work. That is, they keep their salary going for their regular job, but they take that money and invest it in some kind of business which their wife or the kids tend. And of course, they become the suppliers, the driver, whatever else that they need, that the business needs. So anyway, I highly recommend then Immigration Research and Information as a website that will get you the numbers. They are bare bones in the sense that the politics of it isn't built in, and so you can get yourself informed pretty well. Let me go now to a topic that I want to deal with today, which is what is happening on the national scale. So if we do a quick Google News search, we will see this screen that brings us, I typed in on purpose, immigration and Obama, because let me see if I can make this bigger. Because Obama made some noise last week, and I say it with some respect still in there, because so many people have been pushing him to do so. He pulled in law enforcement agencies, as you see in this, sheriffs bowing to immigration pressure. Whichever way the headline is, he had a meeting with law enforcement officials saying this is a topic. There's a small window at the end of the summer that we need to put forward. The national advocacy organizations have been pushing us to make May and June months in which call our representatives. Everyone wants to keep the subject hot. But that's not just on the Democratic side. House Speaker Boehner has had its own push to keep the subject going. He's talking about maybe bringing the bill to the floor. People have been pushing him for a while on it. As you can see here from this newspaper called The Hill, it's the little green one that there's an equivalent one or that's passed around in the office. Sorry about that.
The tech you want?
This ad comes up and we can control them. But anyway, this particular article says that Democrats and Republicans see one final long-shot chance to pass immigration reform this summer. And that's before the elections come up, because everybody after the summer will go into election mode and nothing will happen until after the elections. For me, that's the real window for something to happen between November 6th and suspension of activities in December. But it says here, Boehner clearly wants to overhaul immigration system, but to revive the issue, he will have to untangle knots he tied during the past year. And one of those is, do we have a comprehensive bill like the one in the Senate? There's one proposed, I think it's number 14 in the House. Do we do it by little pieces like he's mentioned, and several of the House have done it?
Think Honda CR-V.
Some people have said he's too involved on that side on making bad things happen on immigration reform. And so we'll see what happens with the right side of his party. But the House Speaker has clearly also not quit on the topic. Frankly, at this point, I'm not sure. I haven't lost hope, but it just doesn't make sense that they would actually get to something. So anyway, so coming back to the screen of news, basically, you know, they took to the airwaves last week to say something is looking up. What can we do? There is an undercurrent here that in June of last year was when the DACA announcement was made, deferral of action for childhood arrivals. That is, those young people that we still call the dream kids. They were brought here as kids and they are undocumented. Their parents are usually undocumented and they've grown up here. They're American in so many ways. And so the proposal was to have them under the DREAM Act. They kept their record clean, to give them some kind of advance reason, way to be here. The DREAM Act has not passed both chambers. Passed the Senate, hasn't passed the House. So that's a little bit about what's going on in the nation as far as immigration. Boehner and Obama is still bringing up the subject. Many people still wishing that there could be something done by the end of the summer. And in the next segment, we'll deal with details of what's going on in, especially in enforcement of immigration. So we thank you very much for listening to CU Immigration Forum TV. And this is Ricardo Diaz. Until next time.